Dear students, I am Sobha Bansiwal, Assistant Professor English, SPC Government College Bhim. Today I am going to explain the poem Alexander's Feast, which is also known uh, as the Power of Music. This poem was written by John Dryden, and he wrote this poem in the honor of the day of Saint Cecilia's Day. Uh, which was celebrated in 1697. Saint Cecilia's Day is celebrated on 22nd November each year. In this poem, Dryden speaks about the power of music. In this poem, he is saying the Greek musician Timotheus sings 6 songs, and with each song, he arouses different emotion in the heart of Alexander the Great. Alexander won the Persia, and after his victory on Persia, he gives a feast. And in this feast, the Greek musician Timotheus sings a song. Let me read the text. It was at the royal feast for Persia won by Philip's warlike son. Aloft in as full state, the godlike hero sate on his imperial throne. After winning, after gaining victory over Persia, uh, Alexander gave a royal feast. Um, Alexander, who was the son of Philip, and he had ability to fight war, and he was brave. Aloft in as full state, the godlike hero sat, and he was sitting on his imperial throne at a high place, and he was looking like a god. His valiant peers were placed around, their brows with roses and with myrtles uh, bound. So should desert in arms be crowned. His Alexander's brave soldiers and generals uh, Alexander's brave generals were sitting around him, and and they were wearing crowns of roses and myrtle flowers round which were tied on their forehead. The lovely Thais by his side sat like a blooming eastern bride, in flower of youth and beauty's pride. Happy, happy, happy pair, none but the brave, none but the brave, none but the brave deserves the fair. And beside Alexander was sitting his Athenian courtesan whose name was Thais. She was beautiful and young, and looking, she was appearing as beautiful as an Eastern bride. The poet, says, happy, happy pair, none but the brave, none but the brave, none but the brave deserves the fair. He says that only brave people deserve uh, the fair and beautiful. Uh, uh, Only the brave ones deserve the company and love of beautiful um, ladies. Happy, happy, fair, pair, none but the brave, none but the brave, none but the brave deserves the fair. Timotheus placed on high amid the tuneful choir, with flying fingers touched the lyre. The trembling notes ascend the sky, and heavenly joys inspire. The song began from Jove, who left his blissful seats above. Uh, in this feast, the Greek, the Grecian musician, whose name was Timotheus, was sitting on a high place, and round him were sitting other uh, musicians. And Timotheus, with his music and with his flying fingers, which touched the uh, lyre, uh, he created musical notes uh, which ascend to the sky. Means he produced loud musical sound with his musical instrument lyre, and heavenly joys inspire, and with his music he inspired heavenly bliss in the hearts of his audiences. The song began from Job, who left his blissful seats above. Such is the power of mighty love. A dragon's fiery from belied the god. Sublime on radiant spires he rode, when he to fair Olympia's praised, and while he sought her snowy breast, then around her slender waist he curled, and stamped an image of himself, a sovereign of the world. The listening crowd in the first of all, he Timotheus, the musician, uh, sings a song about the love affair of Job and Olympia. Job was the father, Job and Olympia, who are considered parents of Alexander. So he says that the god, heavenly god Job, um, left his blissful place in heaven, and he inspired by the uh, love, he left his abode, his place in heaven, he left his seat in heaven, and he he assumed the form of a fiery dragon, and riding on radiant spires he came down on earth to make love to Olympia. And while he sought her snowy breast, then round her slender waist he curled. He enjoyed her snowy white breast, and he curled round her slender waist, and stamped an image of himself, a sovereign of the world. And as a result of this love, uh, Olympia gave birth to a son uh, who was an image of Job, who was resembling Job, the god Job, and who in in future he came to rule over the world. The listening crowd admired the lofty sound. A present deity, they shout around. A present deity, the vaulted roofs rebound. Hearing this song, the audience um, the audience said a present deity in loud voice, and this loud voice uh, echoed on the roofs of that palace. With ravished ears, the monarch they said a present deity to Alexander. They said that it means that uh, Timotheus was singing about a present deity, about um, Alexander, who was the uh, son of Job. The vaulted with ravished ears, the monarch hears, assumes the god, affects to nod, and seems to shake the spears. And Alexander heard this song with ravished ears, means he heard this song very fondly, uh, with applause, with appreciation, and he he considered himself god. He began to consider himself a god, and he nodded his head approvingly, and uh, and he was appearing as if he is a god, and um, he he has the power of shaking the spheres or the planets. With ravished ears, the monarch hears, assumes the god, affects to nod, and seems to sack the spheres. The praise of Bacchus then the sweet musicians sung, of Bacchus ever fair and ever young, the jolly god in triumph comes. Sound the trumpets, beat the drums, flushed with the purple grace, he showed his honest face. Now give the hot boy's breath, he comes, Bacchus ever fair and young, drinking joys did first ordain, Bacchus' blessing are a treasure, drinking is the soldier's pleasure, rich the treasure, sweet is pleasure after pain. Uh, After this song, uh, the Greek musician Timotheus sings about the uh, god Bacchus, who is the god of wine, and he sings in praise of Bacchus. Bacchus, who is a fair and who is considered a fair and young god, the jolly god in triumph comes, and he imagines that the god Bacchus is returning from a battlefield. He says to the audience to sound the trumpets, to beat the drums, um, and blow the hot boys. Uh, the god Bacchus, the 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 cheeks of the god Bacchus are um, purple, and his face is shining glorious. Drinking joys did first ordain, Bacchus blessing are a treasure. He says that gave the joys Bacchus provided the joy of drinking, and and the pleasure which comes from um, drinking wine. Bacchus blessing are a treasure. Drinking is the soldier's pleasure, and Bacchus blessing of wine is a pleasure is a blessing and pleasure to soldiers. Rich the treasure, sweet is pleasure after pain, and this pleasure is um, more pleasurable after experiencing the pains of war, uh, and it is a pleasure for soldier, and soldier enjoys these pleasure more after experiencing the pains and troubles in war. Bacchus' blessing are a treasure, drinking is the soldier's pleasure, rich the treasure, sweet the pleasure. Sweet is pleasure after pain. Soothed with the sound, the king grew vain. Fought all his battles over again, and thrice he routed all his foes, and thrice he slew the slain. Hearing this song, Alexander became so proud, and he fought battles 3 times in his imagination, and he slew, and he means he killed the enemies 3 times in his imagination. The king, the enemies whom he had already killed, he killed them again in his imagination. The master saw the madness rise, his glowing cheeks, his ardent eyes, and while he heaven and earth defied, changed his hand and checked his pride. And when Timotheus So this uh, change on Alexander, whose cheeks were glowing and whose eyes were sparkling and bright, uh, and who has defied heaven and earth uh, through his war. He When Timotheus saw all this, he changed his music, and he decided to check his pride, the pride of Alexander. He chose a mournful music, and he decided to sing a mournful song. Soft pity to infuse pity in the heart of uh, Alexander. He sung Darius great and good, by too severe a fate, fallen from his high estate. He decided to sing a mournful music to infuse soft feelings of pity in the heart of Alexander. So he decided to sing about Darius III, against whom Alexander fought the um, battle of Persia, and he in this battle he slew the king Darius III, and he became victor. So Timotheus decided to sing about Darius III to infuse pity in the heart of Alexander, um, by too severe a fate. He said that um, Darius III failed or was defeated in this battle due to his bad fate. Fallen from his high estate, and due to his fate, he fall from his high estate, um, and wealth ring in his blood, deserted at his utmost need, by those his former bounty fade. And in the battlefield, after his defeat in the battle, he was he was lying on the ground, and he was covered by his own blood, and all the people who had fed on his on who on the all the people who had been fed by um, Alex Darius III had left him, and no one came to his risk. Uh, no one came to save him and to help him. With not a friend, on the bare earth exposed he lies, and he was lying uh, bare uh, on the battleground, and with not a friend to close his eyes, and not there was not even there was not even a single friend or relative to close his eyes. It was a custom to close the eyes. It was a custom that a close relative used to close the eye of a dead person. But on the battlefield there was no one to close his eyes. With downcast looks, the joyless victor sat, revolving in his altered soul. And when Alexander heard this song, he became pitiful. He became joyless, and he sat sadly on his seat on his throne, and there was a change in his heart, the various turns of chance below, and now and then a sigh he stole, and tears began to flow. And he now and then means again and again he breathed sighs, and then tears began to flow from his eyes. Revolving in his altered soul the various turns of chance below, and now and then a sigh he stole, and tears began to flow. The mighty master, the mighty master, smiler to see, the mighty master, smiler to see that love was in the next degree. It was but a kindred sound to move, for pity melts the mind to love. Then the seeing this change in